yeah, big things are coming. Like Ask Stacey stuff again, 2 weeks in a row.
I know.
What?
What? What?
What?
What?
Hey, Stacey, you're back
Hey.
for another round of Ask Stacey stuff. And what I totally dig about this, because we talked about this as we're kind of getting closer to Valentine's Day, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk some love spells.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? I hope you guys love this, because I think last week's talk, you had everybody was right there, super attentive, on top of listening to everything you were saying, because it was really, what is that? You got some ambiance going?
Mood
Is
music.
that,
We got some mood music.
sorry, a little love time with Stacey. How is everybody doing tonight? How are you guys doing? I can't see shit. Let's look. Let's see what's going on.
We got.
What do we got? Tell me. I can't see. Really.
Oh, am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Do it.
All right. No. Well, all right. We got the Danny Marie. The Danny
We do.
Marie. She was first and didn't claim it, so we can throw that over to Faye because she commented second. Which segues me over to the Faye Navarro. Oh, you're doing that. Okay. Sorry.
You're talking. I'll help you.
Right.
You talk.
I just
I'll
talk and you do that.
Yeah.
Then we have Sam's pretty paranormal in the house, in his house.
Mm.
Kaylee, we've got.
I hope she's feeling better.
Yes, we hope you're on the mends.
Yeah,
We have the Hoop from Texas.
we do. We hope your appointment went well, D Hoop, and thinking of you since then.
Yes, same. Hold on, I didn't scroll. We have Court Peterson. Hello, Court. Clearly still in jail on her primary, but that's okay. That looks that seems to be about everybody that will admit
Yeah.
to watching right now.
Stacey, are the dead telling you anybody else that could be, watching?
Oh yeah, you got stalkers.
Oh, we got it, Big Daddy Andy. We got Big Daddy Andy. He just claimed it.
There you go, Big Daddy Andy. We love that. Yeah, we learned so much stuff. You guys remember it was 5, right? 5 religions.
Mm-hmm. There were 5 separate religions, 5 separate philosophies, and they coincide with each other, which is relatively new. The Greeks only thought that there were 2 different kinds of religions, which they referred to as theurgy, which is God working, or working with actual deities like a priest of Venus or Zeus or Jupiter or whatever. And then there was thermagy, which was wonder working, people who were basically magicians, alchemists, things of that kind, who didn't really go to a specific deity, but they still used magical things in order to affect the world. Those were the 2 different kinds in ancient Greece, the 2 different kinds of religion.
We didn't touch it. Those don't sound familiar. You didn't talk
No.
about those last week.
I didn't talk about those because that was, that's way back. Occasionally people refer to themselves as thermists or thermagists. The Aleister Crowley people like doing that, but that's old Greek that referred to those 2 different kinds.
That is so interesting.
This is important. Who gets her first Social Security check on Valentine's Day? Congrats.
That's right. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, the government loves you.
That's right.
They love you.
That's right.
Also, Ash Wednesday this year.
Well, shit.
Is what? Ash Wednesday is what?
14th of February. Valentine's Day is Ash Wednesday, the day after Mardi Gras.
We have Angie
I don't keep
and Shane.
I don't. Hey, Angie and Shane. I don't usually spend too much time looking at that stuff. To be honest with you, I just don't follow the Ash Wednesday. And
We have Jenny Davis.
except you do get your punchkis.
What?
Pollock. Your punchkis. Your punchkis. You don't get those?
Not
what do you
anymore.
call them?
Not anymore. Look, I've been kind of stripped of my Polishism.
Uh-oh. Really?
All my connections are gone. So, but I do have a lovely little Polish deli that's just a few miles from here that I am going to go to this weekend because they have things I like, and that's what I'm going to get.
You're insane tonight. Do you guys know what a punchki is? Because they're huge in Michigan.
Are they
Everybody
like
lines up.
a donut thing?
They're kind of a jelly-filled or
Yeah.
custard-filled type donut, and
Yeah.
people literally line up at like 3 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
and wait at the bakery door to get their dozen.
Yeah. Yes, I've had many of those in my life.
Yeah. Am I saying it right? Because you
No,
often
you
correct
got
me
it.
on my
You're
Polish
good. We're
term.
going to
Okay.
leave that one right where it is.
All
Well,
right.
in New
Good.
Orleans, they do the king cakes, which
Oh,
are terrible. They're like a giant coffee cake that, you know, in
yeah.
the Midwest, you have the coffee cakes, but they're covered in really thick,
Cockroaches?
waxy frosting with
Ugh.
giant
Yeah, I don't.
crystals of sugar that are food colored, and it's like eating gravel when you're eating this cake.
Oh.
I don't like it at all.
Fun.
What do you eat that for? What does that bring you if you eat a king cake? What does this bring you?
Well, it's sort of a festive party thing. You take it into the office, and everybody gets a little bit of it. But what they do is they put in this little bitty plastic baby, literally
yeah.
that big, and depending on the bakery that does it, one of the little plastic babies out of all the cakes they make, one of them, the baby's holding a real diamond. So that was their shtick on getting people to buy the cake, because you might actually get a real diamond with the baby.
God, who's doing comments? We're fighting for comments up here. Sorry.
I'm gonna fight you.
I've never had a king cake. I've never found the baby because I've never had a king cake. So that sounds.
Yeah, I
I
don't like
have heard
them.
of the baby in the cake, but I have not heard of the diamond. I did, D Hoot, and if you're referring to the email, I don't know if this is the one referring to Sam. I did get that, just so you know. It's been a little hectic here, D Hoot. That is not an excuse. It is a reason. We've had some fun. We've had some fun happening all around us, and you know, so that's where our attention has been.
Oh wait, it's a baby Jesus?
Baby Jesus? Is that who it's supposed? Is that?
I don't know. Probably because you know it's Mardi Gras, and you know it's based on the Lent and all of that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's what it's supposed to be. But it doesn't look like that. It just looks like a zygote. You know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check this. Check one of these out. The only cakes. Well, the only thing I've had recently when I was in New Orleans and hanging out with Stacey was the beignet,
Which is not representative of beignets. I took you to the wrong place.
Stacey was very disappointed in the beignet.
Has anybody ever swallowed the diamond? Like, were they just chewing away?
Yeah, that's been
really
a thing where people actually got the little baby caught in their throat because you know they're mowing down on a piece of cake and all of a sudden it's in their mouth. But the one with the diamond is actually colored in gold, so it distinguishes itself from the other pink-looking babies.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick, really.
What does this mean? I don't know what this means. I don't know. Is this something that goes along with king cake? I don't know if I missed. I don't know.
I think she might be referring to the beignets, which we were lucky to get them after 40 minutes sitting in the rain. It was not the most ideal beignets situation. We got it.
And how do you even eat a beignet in the rain?
Yeah. The fact that it came out and was all greasy and the powder was actually starting to coagulate. There was no powder involved, really. It was, it was awful.
I thought this was going to be a fun conversation.
I did diamonds. It's exciting.
Did you enjoy it? I did enjoy my trip to New Orleans, minus that, hour of waiting for something that sounded really good and my drink. What I didn't realize is was supposed to grab my drink where we ordered, but nobody said anything. So
Yeah.
and
almost getting shot too.
Yeah, we almost got
Fun
shot.
times. Fun times in New
I was
Orleans.
staying in a very nice hotel. So, but
Yeah,
anyway, that's a whole different story for a whole different show.
Yeah.
That's actually
What are you
a very
drinking there?
nice hotel.
What you drinking, Stacey?
Red Bull.
Ugh.
Nice. Look at that. David is watching from Clearwater, Florida. Hello, David. I don't know David. Do you know David?
Me personally?
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
sure.
Oh, I feel like I know that name.
Yeah.
I think, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, hi, David, and welcome to the madness that is Ask Stacey Stuff. But you are going to learn something new and exciting because Stacey is just a wealth of knowledge. And if you don't know, you can check his courses out. He is a professor on udemy.com. And he has amazing courses that are just, they are so, all I can tell you is your code still up, Stace? Can we still get your courses for a discount?
Yeah, the code changes, and because I only have like 5 days at a time that I can have a code, and right now the code is Pluto 24.
Pluto.
The planet Pluto,
Right.
24. That's,
okay. Snag. Just pick one course, and you will not be sorry. For $10, you will not be sorry. Having a course from Stacey, you will learn so much stuff, and you will just, he has so many amazing courses. It's going to be hard to pick one, but if you're not 100% sure, pick one. Pick remote viewing. It's a good
communicating
with, what's that?
It's a good one.
It is a good one. It's such a good one. Big Daddy Andy got 3 of them.
Oh,
he missed the code.
Well, Andrew, what you can do,
Uh-oh.
whatever you paid for them, if you get any course on Udemy, you have 30 days to kick the tires. So you can actually get a refund for those 3 courses and then turn right around and use the code. Re-up on those codes.
Shit, look at
Hey,
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You could have taken his course in 10
Yeah, you
days
just
and
share
given
that
it
with
back.
you.
Yeah, you can give it back after 30 days. They do that on purpose because not all the instructors in all the courses are really all that great. So it gives you the opportunity to say, this is a good one, this one sucks, whatever. And you only get to keep the best rather than, keep dumping money on stuff and rolling the dice.
So here's what I know. The courses I've taken with Stacey they've all been really, really good, and they're very conversational. We say this every show. And he draws you in, and it's, for me, it's an easy way to learn and study and actually stay engaged. I don't know about any other instructors. You're the only one I've done on Udemy, but I know you have like 60,000 reviews or some crazy number like that.
30,000.
30,000.
I think you said this last time. You said 60. And you're
all right. I'm exaggerating, people. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So go check it out. I don't think you will be disappointed, David. Just check it out.
Yeah,
so
and you have them for life too. So
you have
if
them for
you
life.
do the course and you go a couple of weeks and you totally forgot everything that I said, you can go back and redo it.
Yeah.
You have the course for life.
Yep. Yeah, and trust me, you will forget because he delivers a lot of information. So check him out on Udemy, and he's really, really good. Danny Dudd. I've watched Danny take those courses. So yeah.
But here's going to be a nice little, kind of like a little beautiful Valentine Whitman sampler chocolate with Stacey tonight. You'll get sort of an idea of just how knowledgeable he is in the way that he sort of explains how his world works, and it could become part of your world. So tonight we are talking a little bit about love spells and what that actually means, because Stacey, you sort of you when we hear that, right, we think of sort of probably its simplest form, maybe, when you were younger, right, like, oh my gosh, I want somebody to fall in love with me and I'm going to do this. And didn't they do this in The Craft? I can't remember that movie very well. It's not one of my top movies, but right, so we sort of take this and think, oh, it's going to be whatever, somebody's going to fall in love with us. But there are other ways to look at this particular practice.
Right.
You mentioned
Well,
those before we talked.
love is a primary feeling, and I use love in a very generic way because pure love is you can't do it through spell work, but we'll call it symptoms of love, whether it be passion, lust, things of that kind, those can be induced with spell work. And depending on the situation that you're in and in this relationship that you want or are in, determines what kind of spell you would want to use. Because it's all, 1,000 ways to skin a cat kind of thing, but it's unique to whatever situation you currently got going on. So there is no one to rule them all kind of thing. If you're in a situationship, it's going to be different than if you're in a love interest from afar kind of stuff. You're in the circle of friends and there's nothing absolutely at all going on, but you want something. That would be different than you are in a relationship, but there's also a third party or a fourth party or a fifth party. They're all kind of mashed in there as well. You're, in a love triangle or a sextole, whatever. The spell itself would be different there than it would be for something else. But they all have the same basic elements, which is part of you and part of them put into a particular working in order to get it to go in the direction that you want. So
this sounds voodoo-y to me, right? Is this based in voodoo?
Yeah. Well, it's based in the African religions.
Okay.
Voodoo, Santeria, Palomayombe, all of these African traditions is where this stuff essentially comes from. Which, comes from way back when, all the way back to ancient Egypt. They were doing this kind of stuff in ancient Egypt.
Okay.
And, they're finding this out now of all of the different spells that people would use in order to that was a big thing. Love. Everybody talks about Egypt as being obsessed with death, and it's not. They were more obsessed with love and creating that kind of, because that was, how you get your society to grow is through,
Right.
Relationships.
Sure.
But that all comes out of Egypt, goes into the bush of deep, dark Africa, and then during the slave trade comes to the West. And we got it that way. So it's a long, long history of doing the same stuff because, well, it works. Stuff that doesn't work fades off into history and you never hear from it. But
I guess that was going to be my question. It was like, how do we know it works? Right.
Yeah.
I guess so what you're saying is if it didn't work, it would have been forgotten already.
Right. Because it's all about practical application. Even though the people have a religion and a belief and all of this kind of stuff, if it doesn't work and doesn't produce results, people stop using it. Just because a priest told them they need to do this and nothing happens, they'll just stop using it because it never works. So the stuff that works is what we hear of.
This question, I find, like in my head, I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm thinking, okay, so, these love spells, but is this much like some of the things we do when we manifest? Do we need permission from all sides, to do said spell?
Well, technically no, but it helps. Because if you've got ancestors on the other side who don't like somebody and you really do like somebody, they're going to try and cock block it on the other side. It just the nature of family. They want your best interest. They know somebody that you don't know about or are not recognizing yet as being the one or being someone that you should be with. And they're going to try and steer that situation. And they're cock block your current fantasy, whatever you got going on with somebody else who's maybe a complete jerk. So that happens.
So then can this work on the unknowing or unwilling?
To a certain degree, depending on what you're doing.
Okay.
And we're going to get into some NC-17 level stuff about like with that.
Put the baby to bed, Adam.
That's right. Bentley should not hear this.
Cover
Adam.
Bentley's ears.
We are spiritual beings, and a lot of what I talk about is purely on a spiritual level, but we're also organic, meaning that our bodies, which dictate a lot of our passion, is sometimes the easier route. Women, and I'm going to go strictly with women here, women have the ability to imprint on the endocrine system of a man simply by sharing Aunt Flo in a meal setting. Yeah.
I'll
The
be back.
hormones that
Okay,
are
so just
produced.
we can talk about this. So you're saying they have to ingest period blood?
Yeah. Yeah. Just like farmers know that if their dog starts eating the chickens, that dog is going to be obsessed with those chickens because it got the taste of blood.
Okay.
That's essentially what we're talking about. The hormones that are produced in a woman's flow actually, when they're ingested by men, imprint on his endocrine system. And he will just think about you all the time. Your genetic code is imprinted on his brain.
Okay.
And if you make a little tea with water and then throw it into spaghetti sauce or lasagna or something, yeah, it will start to.
So, yeah,
It's not really a love spell, but there's a lot of part of the hoodoo that actually, go into that.
Oh, great.
So that's really interesting to me because when you think about, that is one way to probably sneakily for some women, right? If they were courting somebody, that would be, especially if you're putting it, let's be honest, a spaghetti sauce or a lasagna or something that would be a little stronger okay, everybody's grossed out, but how much does it have to be, Stacey? It's not like
Not
cups
much.
and cups of it.
No. Not just enough to turn the water pink. It doesn't have to be very much at all. And it doesn't have to be spaghetti sauce. It can be a glass of wine. Anything that's red, that it can be snuck in. In Latin America, when men are, dating a girl and she's making him the meal, if it's spaghetti sauce or lasagna or anything that's red like that, they usually run because they know in the culture that's exactly what's happening. So they don't.
Okay,
they don't
so
want that.
men on the side, you guys are invited to dinner to somebody's house. I don't know, ask for their calendar, and if it's a pasta dinner, just say no, thank you.
There's certain things you don't do on a full moon, like go on a date,
Okay.
because the full moon is associated with that thing too.
This is really interesting, and like, let's be honest, women can drive men insane.
Yeah,
they truly can.
Yeah. Once a guy gets obsessed, it's done. I mean, the problem with that is that you don't know what kind of guy you're dealing with. If he's really insecure to begin with, then you got the jealousy thing, and then there's obsession is a dangerous thing altogether anyway. Whether you're talking about spirits or people, because they start doing crazy shit that make no sense, and then all of a sudden it's happening. You have no idea. You don't even see it coming. It just happens. They're banging on your door in the middle of the night, wanting to get in, or they're, doing just crazy batshit stuff that you see in stalkers, or, movie stars have to deal with that kind of crap all the time. People who are just super fans or just crazy. You start doing that to a guy that you were with, things turn sideways pretty fast. So it's one of those things where you can do it. It's just a matter, should you do it? Love spells usually involve, fluids of male or female, depending on what it is you're trying to do. Now, if you notice, and gone to one of these Wicca stores, they have lots of candles.
Yeah, I've seen.
Some of the candles are shaped really weird.
Yeah.
Like giant
Yeah,
penises.
you mean like a penis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vaginas or little figurines, male and female nude figurines. You know,
Yeah.
those are all used in love spells.
Mm.
Some of them can be used in cursing, but you know, anything you do in a love spell can be flipped around to be used in a negative way too. So if you have a situation where somebody who is being a complete asshole to you, you can turn them into an ally by using a love spell.
Oh.
Even though that you know they're still a piece of shit, they're no longer treating you as an enemy by turning them into somebody who actually likes you.
Oh.
So that kind of goes, I feel like, right? Like, can you manifest with intent the one you should be with? But I mean, it's really the intent that you're putting into any of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all comes down to the intent. I mean, every time we talk to Stacey, anytime we talk about any of the magic that he describes, and it's like anything we do in life, it's all with intent.
Yeah, your intent is the message. It's just the code of the universe that you're trying to communicate with in order to make it manifest. And that happens through typically imagery, the penis-shaped candle, the genetic material that you may possess or the other person may possess. Like in that movie that you had me watch, Medium, the Asian movie. Throughout that movie, she was collecting condoms full of goo. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
That was some of the spell work that I'm referring to here. You can use the essence of a man in order to get him to do pretty much anything, because that is his soul essence. Is that material?
God, I'm behaving.
Okay, so wait, stop. So if you use a man's sperm on him,
you can use it. Think of a voodoo doll. When you're creating a voodoo doll, what you want is something of that person. This lock of hair is genetic material of that person, but the essence of a man is his sperm. That is literally connected to his soul. So you use that. You are using the most powerful aspect in order to manipulate a man in whatever it is you're trying to do. A love spell usually is the case, but it can be used for anything. Freezer spells are a common one where they'll use basically a condom full of sperm and curse it in a freezer, freeze it solid. Everything about his life locks up and is frozen. He goes into almost like a hibernetic state because he can't think, he can't do anything. He's just kind of there. And it's one of these things where it's a hell unto itself. Freezer spells are a big thing.
I thought Valentine's Day was supposed to be fun.
Well, we're getting to the basics of how all of this stuff works. They all have primary things involved when any kind of love spell that you're going to do.
Okay. But Stacey, I have to ask a question because I'm trying to wrap my head around this. I get using period blood, having the man ingest it. Like that's of me and I'm giving it to the man that I want to fall in love with me or whatever the situation is. That makes sense to me. What doesn't make a lot of sense to me is we're not using sperm for them to ingest. Like, why would we need to have something out of them to put back into them to make them do whatever we want? Like, that doesn't make sense.
These are different situations. One situation is you're trying to get a man to, if you're in, let's say, a relationship with somebody in a situationship, it's a casual yet semi-serious thing, but he refuses to commit because, well, he's got another side piece over here and another side piece over there, and he just doesn't want to give up all the fun because he's having fun, and you want him to commit. You want him to be just you all the time. You got to get him to think about you all the time. So what do? You get you in him, so he's thinking about you all the time. It works the same way with women too. Men can do the same thing in reverse. But it's the idea that you are imprinting yourself on the endocrine system to whenever he starts thinking about sex or doing something that he goes back to thinking about you, and it becomes a heartfelt thing. It switches the dichotomy from lust of all women to lust of you. So that's the whole thing. Now his what I was talking about with the sperm, that doesn't have to be used in the same manner all the time. If you take it from the condom and you put it on the penis candle, you can get him essentially to be locked in to only getting aroused around you. So even if he's not emotionally involved, biologically his wee will not work unless he's around you.
Wee.
And do we feel like this is a practice that is often used?
Oh yeah.
I know throughout history, but do you think these are things that people truly still do?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
The
candle thing.
Now listen, is this why my beignet took so fucking long?
I really hope not,
because here's what happened, everyone. I'm in New Orleans, right? Just hanging out with my man Stacey, and all of a sudden, I don't know, I just started getting feelings, and then next thing you know, we're back at the hotel.
Look how cute that picture is.
That is a good picture. I look really good in it.
Yeah, but Terry was in the room with us, so you know.
Wow, God, I had no idea, right? So it does, like, look, people can be scary, right? And yeah, it does make you wonder, like, no ice pops, no pasta.
Again, a lot of this, it goes two ways. The love spell is to attract. Sometimes it is to inflict vengeance too. Let's say the person that you're with, the guy you're with, is cheating on you. You have his essence in your possession. You put that on a penis candle, grease it up like you would, whatever. Start writing his name on it, and then putting hot needles into that candle. It has the opposite effect, where his wee doesn't work anywhere. It's kind of controlling and dominating.
This show is gonna have to be deleted. This sort of information can't be out there. This is
it is out there.
Well, this is though interesting when you think about it, and maybe this is the conversation we should be having with kids in junior high. So we are a little bit more mindful about who they're sharing their essence and energy with, because it can clearly be used against you. And we're in this world. I mean, you think about the world we live in today with Tinder, and I don't know what the other one. That's the only one I even have heard of. What are the swipes?
That's the only one you have? Is that what you're saying?
I don't have it.
I don't know. The other one's not on my phone.
No, it's the only one. I know, Lori. What you tuned in?
Yeah, Lori,
very
sorry.
Important information.
Lori, sorry.
But you think of how easy everybody is swiping through these apps, and I don't know that age group. I can't tell you, and I know that these apps really cover a lot of age groups, but how easy and how almost flippant they are with their relationships, and when you think about how the mental health has also declined of so many, you add things like this. We need to be mindful about who we are sharing these important pieces of ourselves with, because if it can be turned around and used so easily, no offense, you can find a penis candle anywhere. You can get them on Etsy. You can go to any, like you said, metaphysical store. And I'm going to be super honest. I didn't even put two and two together. I have been seeing them more on metaphysical pages and crystals. Also, I'm noticing people are now making these into crystals, and I'm not quite sure how they use those, but oh my God,
I thought they were fertility things, to be honest with you. I had no idea about this whole aspect of it.
Yeah, well, it can be used in fertility, but it can also be used to give payback for someone who's done you dirty. There's a positive and negative, and I use that generally speaking, a yin and a yang to everything you do in magic. You know,
Courtney. You gotta, this is like, it is very serious, but it is also, this is when my junior high boy comes out in me a little bit. Lori.
Yeah, they'll be on sale next week at haunted.com.
That's right. Get a pack of 12.
Get haunted penis candles. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So that is some very serious, and I guess the belief that we put into that moment, to that ritual, and I don't know, like this makes me a little nervous to understand.
People have the ability to manipulate the universe in a lot of different ways. It doesn't mean that what they're going to do is going to actually affect you. So if you've got somebody who's a complete and utter hater and they start doing spell work like that, to a certain degree, if you're unaware that can actually take place, yeah, that can affect you. But if you are aware that that's happening and you can sense it, you start feeling weird. It's not like just nothing, happens. You can take spiritual baths. Spiritual baths are excellent with getting that shit off of you. People throw stuff at you all the time. Regular spiritual hygiene can protect you from all kinds of stuff. I mean, just like hygiene can protect you from all kinds of stuff.
Okay, so we're not defenseless against.
No, not at all. Okay. It's really for people who are unaware that this affects the most.
All right,
I actually have. This was gifted to me in 2004. It's a good spell book, love charms and magical cures. I'm gonna look up the love side. There's a lot of stuff about money, and I always feel like that is always attached to the love spell situation.
Yeah, money. The goddess Oshun in African beliefs, she is controlled with, or she controls love, money, birthing of children. Her abdomen is, her sacred area of the body. She resides in the rivers. She's associated with Isis in ancient Egypt. Spiritual baths primarily don't have salts in them. They more have flour or sweet smelling stuff, even beer. Aniseed.
Beer.
Yeah, beer. Beer is really good as far as a spiritual bath is concerned. It was created from Egypt that way.
Okay.
For the dead. It wasn't originally created for drinking ourselves. It was created for offerings to the spirits in ancient Egypt. But their beer wasn't anything like what we got. Theirs was more or less like a really yeasty soup that, smelled like rotten beer.
Prison beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So D Hoot's comment here while Sarah reads a book. You got to really either want someone very badly or it's the revenge thing. But do you have to keep after someone or is it a one and done?
It all depends. Some of the stuff lasts for months. Nothing lasts forever. And some of it only lasts, a few weeks. It's never one and done. But depending on your level of your situation, you may want it to redo it over and over and over again. It's just, do you have to? And everybody's situation is different. You're in a position where you're at the end of your birthing window. and you're needing to find a man fast, that kind of works. If you're young, teenagers like using it because they see the cute boy in the football team and they start doing that kind of stuff. But it's really meant to be an opening or an opportunity to create that relationship, not to lock it in on a lifetime level.
Okay, then how about this notion? I mean, could this be used to enhance an existing and kind of, maybe a fizzling out kind of relationship?
What, perfume? Oh yeah.
No. I was just that question. No, but let's say you're in a relationship and it's just bleh,
Yeah. You can rekindle it that way.
You can rekindle. Thank you. I couldn't find that word.
Yeah, you can rekindle that way too. I mean, if you're in the hamster wheel and everything is just, doing the same thing every day, and you just don't have the energy or inspiration to do anything because it just seems like a lot of work after all of the work that you've been putting in on your regular life, it helps inspire creativity and doing something to look forward to.
Okay.
Romantically.
Yeah. So it's not all nefarious, right? I mean, this can be used for good.
Right. In a lot of the families, the overbearing Catholic families, they like to have someone from the outside kind of match make by doing, spell work for little young couples so that they can, get together and do the family thing and be, it's a tradition. The Yuntels of the Jewish families, they do the same kind of thing. Okay. So it's not meant to be a like you said, a nefarious thing, but it's an extra tool that can force a situation that seems to be in a holding pattern.
Okay.
So it's not all about period and sperm.
No, those are just the tools, the elements that you need in order to create that level of communication with the universe to match it together. Your genetic material, whether it be a piece of hair, fingernails, clippings, whatever, it's a part of you and then a part of them. You put them together and you basically make the universe make it happen. That's the basic idea behind the voodoo doll too. It's not always used for nefarious things. It's used, the dolls or the wax figurines of the male and the female, those are used to create a scenario visually of what you're trying to get. You can set them apart on this far apart on a table or a plate or whatever. And every day you drop a little piece of honey on each one of them saying, this is what I want. And you move them together like a chess piece. And then another day, do the same thing, move them together. And then when they're touching, you light the candle. And when the candle's burnt down on both of them, boom, it happens. So you're creating that scenario by putting those candles together.
Wait, did you say you have to have something genetic from each person on the candle?
Right. Well, a while ago when we were talking about cursing, I talked about the levels of things that you can use. Class 1 is genetic material, like in the Catholic Church. They have class 1 relics, which is usually body material, blood, different things like that, from a saint or the Pope or whatever. Then you have second class, which is something that that person created, like they wrote their name on something. That's second class. It's still theirs that they created, but it's not really of them. Okay. Then there's third class, which is something that touched the second class, to make that connection. It's the same thing here. You don't necessarily have to have something of them, the first class. You can have a second class or third class element. And a third class would typically be a picture, which you can get off of the profile, off of anybody on Facebook.
Right.
You just get that printed out, and you've got that person. You can put that underneath the candle, and that person is represented.
That's frightening to me. That part is frightening to me.
Yeah. A lot of this is frightening.
Yeah. So D Hoot's asking, right? Can you do it to people that you don't like? Does that bring them together with somebody that is not for them? So, like, let's say, you know, in like in situations where, right, somebody sort of has more of that obsessive behavior towards another person that might not be interested, and right, they start maybe using those techniques or tactics. You know, how can you snap yourself out of that? I know you mentioned like you kind of feel those things happening, but I mean, I guess how do you recognize like, okay, I feel a little funny here and I need to snap out of this. I don't know that I would go in my head like somebody's doing a love spell on me. Like,
well, yeah, in Western culture, that is a problem. Most people don't think that, and that's why they're so effective on people in the West. In other cultures where they have this ingrained in the culture and where there's a lot of superstition going on, they look out for that because they always know there's some witch around every corner that's trying to make shit happen. So they're looking out for everything. They, you know, a broom falls over and hits the ground and suddenly they're, you know, running throughout the house with sage, you know, to cleanse things because, you know, what falls to the floor comes to the door, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but and I don't know if I either didn't understand Sarah correctly, but back to D Hoot's question for a second. And my interpretation of D Hoot's question was, let's say there's two, like Jackass A and Jackass B, that you're just like,
oh, okay.
I don't like these people. But
you want to put them together?
Yeah, let's put them together and see.
Well,
can you like? Yeah, I mean, this all sounds very godlike to me. Which
there's a certain level of you, depending on what your level of spiritual, I don't want to say expertise, but if you're not really a priest or an advocate for someone, a mother could do it for a child, a father could do it for a son.
Okay,
but you don't speak for, you know, asshole A or asshole B. That's not your.
Damn it.
So somebody's bugging me. They're not kind. I can't go, you know what? I'm going to do a love spell for that person to go look at that other person that seems to be.
Right.
It's not our call.
You can't do that. If they're doing something to you, you can talk to the universe about what they're doing to you. And the universe may turn around and say, you know what? I got you covered. I'm going to hook that asshole up with this asshole. And they're going to be so entertained with themselves, they're not going to be bothering you in the future.
Yeah.
But you yourself can't arrange that. It's the universe itself is seeing that situation and saying, you know, this is really kind of ironic and would be hilarious if it took place. So we're going to do that for you.
Yeah.
You know,
it becomes sort of the, you know, universal matchmaker from hell. That could be cool. That would be fun to be able to do
new
that.
Business.
Whole new business. Whole new business.
Well, I mean, in a way, you could do it that way if you wanted to. You could be asshole B. If asshole A is, you know, bothering you, you can do a love spell on that person to fall in love with you, and then you could be a complete dick to that person.
All right. So this is, now we're talking. So this is sort of reverse psychology thing, right?
Yeah.
So someone's an asshole,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want them to be nice, so I could just make them fall in love with me. I could talk really nice into my microphone.
It's really Machiavellian, is what it is.
Yeah. And then they fall in love with me, so now they're going to be nice. And then I can just be like, no, fuck off, because you're an asshole. Like, I don't know. Like, how does this work?
Well, it's the honey is the trick. If you write your name on a little piece of paper, it can be, you know, an index card type paper, write your name, and then do the same, write their name on it. Get a little tea candle and on a plate, put one drop of honey on your name, and then put their name face down like a sandwich on that thing, and then burn the tea candle. And when the tea candle burns out, their view of you will be sweetened. It's a sweetener that brings them more into
This sounds easy.
Okay, do I have tea candles around here?
Tea lights, people. Can we stop? Tea lights. Yeah, this sounds. See, I like this. I like this concept because it's not. Yeah, I don't know. It's just
not
well, you're not messing with somebody's life in the sense of
Correct.
you're just bringing a little more kindness to a situation.
Right. And you can do that. It doesn't have to be a situation that's like that. You could do that if you are getting ready to go to a job interview.
Yeah.
You know, the person that you know you're going to be interviewing with, do that, sweeten up on that person. You walk in the door and they're just going to fall in love with you. Yes, you must work for me, kind of thing. And you know, you're not having to work so hard in order to get that particular job.
Right. I like it. Now, nobody.
So we got to stop buying candles that are battery operated, people.
Yep.
Tea candles, you can get like a huge, like 200 of them for like $5. They're really cheap.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those are cheap, but no, that seems like a nice way to maybe sweeten some
business deals. That happens all the time. You know, that one particular spell is used in Latin culture for all kinds of interactions with the public, interactions with people, business deals, relationships, you know, you name it, even court cases. They do that kind of thing in order to put them in a good light with others. Okay. And it's a love spell, but it's
okay. So yeah, I mean, it's a different interpretation of what people normally would consider a love spell, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So let me just write a couple names down here.
I'm curious on the side. Do you guys, I mean, they're all definitely interacting, but we want to hear your voice. Do you have any questions about love spells? You know, maybe not everybody wants to go to the main event of how Stacey started this conversation, but the little bits of honey and candles that's easy enough.
Honey jars. Honey jars are the same thing. Honey jars are they're slower moving, but they're also long term. So if you do basically put all kinds of sweetened herbs in a jar, a mason jar, and you know, the person's picture, their name, maybe a lock of hair of theirs, anything that's, you know, associated with them, in a jar, and pour gobs of honey over it, and let it put a little tea candle on top and talk to it like you're talking to this person's soul, what you want from that person. They will come around to it. They get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, and pretty soon they're locked in, and you've got yourself you know, whether it be a friend or a lover. But it takes longer because honey is essentially the slowest moving thing in the world. That honey is what draws them in, and as long as you don't open that jar, you're good. Yeah,
and don't forget that jar of honey is not the jar of honey to eat out of, because you just put somebody's hair in there. So,
well, you want to put it someplace out of the way, in the closet or whatever. And when you're done with it, you throw it in the river. So.
I'm looking at Sam's comment there.
Go ahead.
Sometimes she says, though, can just the presence of some people's energy just make them magnetic? Like, I have seen that happen, and it's so fascinating.
Listen, don't talk about me in that way. Okay?
I think that's very true. I think that is. I think that's very true. Even if you're just, and that you could be talking about anybody, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, people, they have a chemistry. Sometimes they get in each other's vicinity and they just lock in. There's nothing you can do to get in between them. It's just that kind of energy just happens. But a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with social situations or lack of social situations. You need a little bit of oomph in order to get things to metastasize. And that's all this really is getting the universe to give you a boost. Nothing will make anyone love someone over anything. You have to still put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives you that window, that opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, this is a lot. So then, question: what?
What?
Sorry, what?
Go.
What
No,
I did?
go. My thing was cutting out. No. My internet or something was just cutting out, and everything
Oh,
was all jumbly.
okay. Rob has question.
You're good. Stop. Go, Rob.
All right. So let's say somebody goes and tries this tonight. First of all, if anybody does what Stacey suggests with the tea light, please be safe and be careful. I don't want anybody, and it's not us suggesting this at all. But if you do it, just be careful. But let's just say, they do it and they don't see or feel any effects, right? They want somebody to be nicer. So, I mean, you really got to believe in this for it to work, correct?
Yeah, your intent is what makes it work. The other person's belief system makes no difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was a disclaimer because I'm just, I don't want to be getting those calls tomorrow.
That's right.
And then, who kind of lands back where on the question I had earlier, how do you so aside from spiritual baths, is there anything else you can do to kind of just ward off these freak shows?
Well, yeah. I mean, I talk about cleansing all the time. The flower water is, also a crucial stopgap in between spiritual baths.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to maintain your own, your aura, your spiritual cleanliness is a huge bonus to any of these workings, because it's when you start to become clouded with your fatigue, you're working all the time, you literally get to the point where you're so tired you can't think about anything, you just sit there and stare. That's when you're most vulnerable. That in during REM sleep, when you're in the middle of a hardcore, really good sleep and REM is going on, you're really susceptible. You're unconscious anyway, is very, very susceptible to influence and suggestion from afar.
And I kind of following up with you too, that whole magnetic thing that I feel like Sam was sort of talking about, could that also be, do you feel like I don't know your beliefs in past lives, Stacey?
Oh yeah, it's there. I've
Okay.
been around a few times. I have memories only of my death, but I have memories. Each time I've died, I have memories of the moment that I was dying.
I think you told me about that.
Yeah.
In New Orleans. Nolans.
Yeah.
Nolans.
It's like the last time I died was
then
actually,
the love thing. Oh, go ahead, Stacey.
Oh no, I was just what I told Rob. I have memories of being on a battlefield in the Civil War, and I was on the South. I was born in the North this time around, but I was wearing the gray uniform and I got shot, but I didn't die right away. And the tree that I saw looks a lot like that huge ass tree that's at Gettysburg.
Now, maybe you were colorblind back then.
Well, I saw the other uniform. It was the dark blue uniform coming at me. The guy ran at me and then stepped on my chest as I was dying to keep, on with the charge. And then I died. But, it was one of these things where, if you can think of a way to die, I did it. The only way that I haven't, that I know of, is natural causes.
Okay.
So,
well,
interesting.
And I think so. Where were you going, Sarah? Before I cut you off.
Well, I was just curious. I mean, what if, with people who are so naturally drawn to each other, could that be more of a past life memory that's coming through?
Mhm.
And yeah.
Oh yeah. That we, for whatever reason, we're still attracted to the same group of people from life to life to life to life.
Mhm.
And it's not always the same people from life to life, but it's the same group. So they'll, it's like there's a round robin almost. This time you guys go, and the next time we'll go, and then this kind of
Mhm.
thing. But it's the same group of people that we go from life to life to life to life. Um, you know, Sometimes they're brother and sister, sometimes they're husband and wife, sometimes they're brother and brother. It's really kind of, what are you going to do? Um,
Mhm.
but that attraction is, I don't want to say universal is not the right word, is pre-programmed
Mhm.
universe, coming into play. It's,
Mhm.
you know,
Genetically imprinted in each of your human forms.
yeah, well, spiritually imprinted even.
Spiritually, even better. That makes more sense.
You
Boom.
come across somebody who you haven't known, and then all of a sudden you meet them, and within an hour you feel like you've known them their whole life, and you want to do nothing more than spend your whole life with them. That is what goes on from life to life to life to life. It is that connection.
Mm.
There's nothing you can do about it. It just
Mhm.
is. It's the way
The
that
same,
you've always been.
yeah, same group of people thing worries me. Some people are like, I don't want to do this shit with you again. But okay.
Mormons created a
Uh-huh.
whole religion around that.
I mean, can they come back as like a pet?
No.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, not the turtle. Dee's also asking, what if you do that with someone who's already in a relationship? Stacey, you've talked about some of these situations, or the word isn't bindings, but not curses, but I guess ritual. I'll use ritual.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're not doing it with the right intent, even though that might not be the wrong intent, but if you're not doing it in the right intent, with the right intent, what happens? Like, can it turn around on you?
Well, typically what happens is nothing. If you are the side piece and he's leading you on and he's never going to leave his wife, and you just want, he keeps promising you whatever, but he's never going to leave his wife. You use this stuff. The best case scenario is nothing happens.
Mhm.
Worst case scenario is it turns into a love triangle, like a nightmare love triangle.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, you know, it's known that murder suicides could take place, just
Yikes.
because there's so much passion and fear and hate and envy and all this negative stuff in that triangle that just turns it sour. So,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
if you're in that kind of a situation, you can do it. Buyer beware. And your best luck is that nothing happens.
Mhm. Mhm. But that's like anything we do, any situation that we're using that particular extra help with.
Right. If
I
it's
think
if it's
you
a
have
really
to
bad
be.
situation, your dad can step in and cock block it, and to where nothing happens, because it is
Mhm.
such a bad situation and you're just being stupid. They're trying to
Mhm.
protect you from yourself, you
Mhm.
know.
So, like with anything else, universe does what universe does.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. But you've still got guardian angels on your side that, help you out even if you don't think you need that help.
Okay.
So it's very complex, but also somewhat simple.
Yeah. Dee Dee's like so late. Dee Dee, you're missing out on love spells. You're like, oh my gosh. Um, Kaylee's bringing up connecting in dreams, and here's the thing, like, what about the situations where you're doing love spells and you're trying to connect with somebody in a dream? Is there any spells that you know of that you go on that astral plane, so to speak? And
yes and no, but it's really hit or miss, because just like the spirits being able to, with mediums being able to match your frequency, being able to match someone else's frequency is very difficult, because that's what you're doing, going into their dreams or bringing them into that dream land. You're matching frequencies. Typically, what spells like this try to do is get that other person to think about you all the time, even in a dream state. And the best way to do that is you do these spells when you know they're in their REM sleep. So at 3:00 in the morning, you're working your stuff and you're concentrating and you're focusing on that person, to where all they're doing in their dream state is just taking it all in. And all of a sudden, wham, you're there in their mind. You're not really there. You're there in their mind, and you're, interacting with them. And on an unconscious level, they wake up thinking about you. You do that over and over and over again. As soon as you talk to them, they're like, oh, wow, I've been thinking about you a lot. And, I'm thinking, well, maybe we could go out to dinner, or, blah, blah, blah. You're putting that in the back of their mind, to where it's their idea to go out on a date.
So cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and you did mention that before, and that is when the person is in their most vulnerable state. So it would make sense why you would want to do those rituals in the middle of the night, opposed to during the day.
Right. And I have been accused falsely of doing that to people, and they hear that this is how you can actually do that and get people to think about you. Women have accused me of raping them in their sleep.
What?
Yeah. Well, they had a dream where they were with me in their dream, and they thought I was doing that to them, because I knew how to do that.
It's not,
like, dude.
It's not funny, but at what point do we speak in reality that,
well, what it was is they were confessing that they were into me, and they didn't even realize it themselves. That was their unconscious mind giving them their own fantasy. I didn't do it, especially these women who were
myself. So
Rob's just in the corner. He's just rocking himself to sleep. That is interesting that anybody could say, like, clearly you must be doing this to me, because why would I be thinking of you?
Right. And it's like, dude, you realize I don't think about you at all, much less that,
Yeah.
Well, shit. That sounds terrifying.
Well, again, you're dealing with either somebody who is very superstitious, like in the Latin cultures, or someone who's really trying to admit that they have this thing for you. It's their unconscious mind that are doing it, whether they are actually thinking it or not. Their mind is being honest with them. So
I feel like you're speaking that this has happened multiple times, not just once.
No, it's multiple times.
Why are you even like? He's just like, yeah. Like this is a fucking big deal.
Yeah.
Does it come with being what you are? Do you think, Stacey?
Yes.
Like, because you have the background that you have.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I'm a witch,
and
so people who know anything about me, that's the first thing. I mean, where was I? Oh, I was in a radio interview, and we're going to be talking about remote viewing. And this radio guy, he was absolutely petrified that I was going to watch him in the shower or him taking a piss in the bathroom with remote viewing. It's like, dude, you have no idea the effort that it takes to do remote viewing. I'm not going to waste it watching you take a whiz.
The bigger question is, why is he scared?
Yeah, well, I mean, to him, he probably thought that I could just snap my fingers in my head and I'm there watching him. He had no idea what remote viewing was. So he was interviewing me and all of this. And that was the first question he asked is, were you watching me take a shower? I was like, dude, no. That kind of paranoia or that kind of misunderstanding of what something is or isn't, like what I do as far as like my background, creates an urban legend unto itself. And
but that makes sense, Stacey, because meeting you and learning about remote viewing, and the more we've spoken, I believe, like many things in this world, words are used loosely or not in the correct way at all. And I think that this person could have believed you could watch him shower, because when you hear, and this is not a ding on psychic mediums, but they do use the word remote viewing.
Right.
In my opinion, having what I've learned, if you're going to use the term remote viewing and you want to use it correctly, it wouldn't be in the sense of psychic mediumship. It really truly is something. I mean, they're not doing the ideogram, and they're not doing all that. So I can understand, because I think it has been explained that people are remote viewing situations.
Right. They use precognition and remote viewing interchangeably.
I'm sorry. I just had a proud business partner moment. She was like, the ideogram, like she's really
are you proud of it?
Yeah, I'm so proud right now.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, so there's misconception about what a lot of this stuff is, and that is very sad to me. And I think, I mean, this is why many people were were judged wrongly, and what they were doing and what it really meant to be that word. I didn't, witch or whatever. That's not what you're considered, is it?
Well, it really depends on who you're talking to. To a Christian, yeah, I'm a witch, because anything that has to deal with the paranormal is akin to witchcraft. Communicating with spirits.
Yep. If you need help becoming a witch, just talk to me. I'll run an ad.
Just have Rob write an ad for you.
Look, it got you covered. You will get hate mail, and you will be a witch. You will get all kinds of Satanist, whole 9 yards. So yeah, anybody on the side that needs help, just give me a call.
Yeah, I've been called a lot of things. I've been doing this for almost 40 years, and run the gamut. I mean, back in the 80s, they had the satanic panic that anything that you did was remotely dealing with the paranormal was akin to sacrificing children, sacrificing babies, and satanic cults, underground cults that were everywhere.
Oh yeah.
That whole thing, from the Geraldo Rivera fanned the flames of that during the 80s with his stupidity. But it's been going on for a long time, so I don't even care anymore on that.
Yeah,
because it is what it is.
So do people reach out to you, Stacey, to say, hey, could you help me with this love spell situation?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's my students, that's pretty much all they do. I put out the courses to answer a lot of the questions that people have on that, because a lot of the things that I would do for people, they can do themselves. And as a matter of fact, it's a lot of times more effective, because your intent is better than my intent for you. So you being able to do it, just all you need is the basic elements, which you can usually find in your own spice rack, and maybe something unusual like a penis candle. Those things.
So get that, Dee Dee.
Yeah, get that on Amazon or whatever. But I show you how to do it. If you have any questions on what you can substitute one thing for another, because in some parts of the world, some elements or some spices are illegal. They don't allow them because of Islamic law or kosher law or different things like that. So they want substitutes, which are easy enough to find too.
I'm curious, Dee Dee, do you mean like a celebrity star?
Yeah, that's what she means, because I think it is. I'm speaking for Dee Dee, but I was thinking about this earlier when you were talking about it. I had the same question, but there are people that are just beloved, right? And some of them don't make a lot of sense to me, but
yeah,
are these people, doing these spells or throwing that out there to the masses?
That's like selling your soul to the devil, in my opinion. Like, I feel like as a celebrity and you want to be that adoration, is that a love spell, or is that truly, or is selling your soul to the devil for that adoration? Is that a ritual, a spell like ritual?
Well, depends on what your definition of what a devil is. I mean, you have Lucifer, you have Satan, which are two different deities. You have and Moloch, all these different deities from the Babylonian times, things like that. What you're committing your life to is not the same thing as selling your soul to. Your soul is not the ownership of any of these deities. It's what you, as a living being, are committing for this deity, sacrifices and things of that kind, to make this life better. Yeah, a lot of Hollywood does do that. A lot of the elites do that because Lucifer is not an evil deity. He is the light bringer. He's the morning star. In ancient Rome, that's what he was. The Statue of Liberty is actually Lucifer, the morning star, holding the torch, and with the sun rays coming out from as the crown. That's the morning star.
Who knew?
Well,
now we do.
Now we know. This is why he's Professor T.
Yeah. During the French Revolution, the French were throwing the Catholics out of France, and the Pope was enemy number one. The Statue of Liberty was basically a giant finger to the Vatican, because they have one in Paris, a smaller version. They have the big one in New York. And it was basically to let the Vatican know that these two lands are no longer touchy-touchy. So that's what it was really meant. And the Vatican was actually banned before World War I. Ideas like liberty were completely banned. They went on a campaign to extinguish anything that had to do with liberty. It was a curse word to them. So
this has been beyond intriguing to me. Rob, how about you?
Oh, yeah.
Also, while we're on this subject, the Revolutionary War, Pluto, the furthest planet, and I'm still going to call it a planet, entered into Aquarius just a few days ago on January 20th. And it will be there in Aquarius for about 40 years.
Jeez.
It's the slowest moving planet. It takes 248 years to make one revolution. And as far as revolution is concerned, the spot that it's in right now, the last time it was here, it was 1776.
Boom.
Yeah, it's
boom.
Get your muskets ready, people. Get your funny hats out. It's time.
Revolution comes back around. Yeah, we're here again. So weirdness is going to take place. It's going to get scary, but it's not. It is the age of enlightenment has come back around. So we're going to be in some very exciting times and some very weird times, but it's going to be good. We're going to come out of it the other side a whole lot better. So that's why Pluto is the word that I'm using for my coupon, Pluto 24. Because
look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I'm very curious, people on the sides, on the side here, love spells. What do you think? Good, bad? Don't mess with them. Use it for more of that. I like the sweetener aspect. I really do like bringing those who might not be able to help themselves when it comes to being a little bit more on the, don't be a dick, folks. And sometimes you feel like it should be that easy, but I like that aspect of the love spell, but
Yeah, you can get people to like you, and sometimes it's easier to get people who hate you to like you, because hate is not the opposite of love. That's ambivalence. That's apathy. That's the opposite of love.
Mhm.
If they hate you, they really care. They really care. Whatever it is that you're doing, they care. You just have to tweak it a little bit to where they care about you instead of whatever it is they're upset about. And that's the sweetener.
I agree with that, Stacey. I definitely think when somebody has so much time that they spend watching and critiquing, or it does become more about, I mean, there are people that I just, right, you just go, okay, they're not for me, and you just keep moving on in your life and you never think about them again. But I think that is when somebody sort of throws that word at you, I hate you. That's kind of a big red flag. Not hate.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to actually love them back, but the best way to get rid of an enemy is to make them a friend. So you can, work the situation in your favor, even though that it may not be as satisfying as watching them get hit by a bus. It's that would be more satisfying depending on how often they've hurt you. But at the same time, what you're trying to get away from is the fighting, the energy.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Rob, how do you feel about all this?
It's a lot, right? It's hard. Parts of it are, to me, make a lot of sense, or some are common sense, and then the other parts of it, to me, is just like, damn. If it's just a really different way of looking at some things, and then understanding some other components to this. Yeah, it's really interesting. I love it. I love hearing it. I love learning it. I don't know if I'll try it. I might try the honey on the index cards with some names. Just use a little bit more of some nice coming my way.
Yeah, if anything else, business deals. That's perfect for business deals. Especially if you're going to someplace you're not familiar with. You're meeting someone who's kind of a big wig that you've never met before. You want to be on a good foot with that person.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a spiritual advantage there. I love it. I love it. Danny is apparently building a desk or something downstairs.
She goes, good for her. Good, you get it, girl. I think what to understand, or just to hear the words when you said, for so many cultures, this is everyday practice. This is generational practice that is just a way of life. And we forget that in the Western world. So for me, that's just, that in itself is so enlightening, because we do, and this is coming from somebody, like when you think of some of the things that they do in Eastern philosophy, but you forget about these things, or we think they're, it's ridiculous. It's, that didn't happen. Yeah, superstition, but they truly live by these rituals, by these spells, so to speak. That to me is beyond intriguing, because it does make me wonder how they process certain feelings or thoughts that come up versus how we do. Like you said, we might not realize some of the things that somebody could have maybe placed in our path, because it's just not how we think. Right. So that makes me wonder, like, what have I missed? I guess that's pretty narcissistic of me to think it's ever happened to me, but what have I missed in this lifetime?
Yeah, well, you've probably gotten involved with people that have done that sort of thing, and you never knew. Again, refer back to that movie, The Medium. You remember that scene with the egg, where she was cleansing with the egg? That's how they determine. That's a divination thing. If you've got something that has been thrown on you, whether it's good or bad, it will show up in the eggs. And if it's like a love spell kind of thing, it'll show up bloody. It'll be red. If it's a curse, the yolk will be black. And that's the litmus test to determine whether or not you're being silly or whether or not something's real, something's coming to you.
Yeah.
That culture it's embedded. They do it all the time. They know it. They know all the little tricks of the trade.
And this is just, I'm sure, the tip of the iceberg for love spells that you know about, Stacey. I would assume. Yeah. We're just giving you a little bit. We don't want to send everybody away with too many love spells.
I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody into anything or about anything. Because that's how witch hysterias take place. People get weirded out over something, and all of a sudden everybody's a witch, which happened with the egg in Salem. Tituba was doing an egg divination to find out the names of the boys that the girls were gonna marry. You could see the first letter of their name in the egg as it was floating in the water. And one girl absolutely freaks out and goes into a catatonic state, and everybody's a witch.
Right.
It all started with an African doing African things, and everybody went batshit after that.
It's interesting. Do you guys on the site? It is a really good movie. Just so you know, I found that one. I got on Amazon, I believe, on Prime. Dee.
Yeah, it's on Prime. That's how I got it.
Yeah,
I got it on Prime too. And everything in that movie is absolutely real, documentary style ish, up to the point.
Okay, all right.
Up to the point where she goes batshit crazy and rips off her shirt. The girl. Okay. Everything up in the movie, which is like 2/3 of the movie, all the way up until that point, everything they're doing is real. Is part of like what I'm talking about here. After that, all Hollywood.
But I liked her rituals she did by the tree outside with the path. And I'm sure that was taken from, or pieces were taken, right? Like,
yes, pieces.
Yeah.
That whole thing is a real thing, but the way it ended, not real.
Well, exactly. It's a very interesting, I can't remember. It's Asian. I can't remember now.
It's
Thailand, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it Thailand? Yeah. So when you first watch it, Dee, just so you know, because I threw Angel off with it, when you first start it, you'll be like, this can't be right. This is a document. It's straight up like a documentary. And then it goes into what happens during the making of the documentary. I thought it was very interesting, and the goddess that they pray to is not real. She is not a real goddess, just FYI. But it's still very interesting. It's a very interesting movie, and I think what I liked about it was, and maybe it piqued my interest even more, Stacey, because knowing you and have been learning so much from you that it almost made so many parts of that movie more interesting to understand, right?
Yeah.
Like Rob's sitting there shaking his head.
Yeah, because the next day after Danny and I watched, I talked to you, and I'm like, fuck, it would have been great to sit there with Stacey and talk about some of the scenes in that movie. It is really good.
If you really want to revisit something, because we talk about a lot of stuff, you'll see a lot of the things that I've talked about peppered in the movie Serpent and the Rainbow.
Yeah.
If you rewatch that movie, because that was like late 80s that came out, some of that movie was actually real. It was filmed in Haiti of certain rituals that were really taking place. They just spliced it into the movie while they were narrating different things going on. Like the bar scene where a guy goes ape shit and starts eating wine glasses, things like that. That was really happening in the movie.
So that's the thing, even with the medium, it's the belief systems, right? This was a family who gets to be the medium for this particular goddess, and sort of what happens and what you sort of have to carry. I think the sacrifices and all that you have to carry with you as being chosen, and then the work, the rituals that they do. It was intriguing to me. I do think that I watched it with very different lens because of you, Stacey.
Yeah, I agree.
She was, they used the word medium, but it was really, they didn't want to use the word shaman, probably for political reasons, but she was acting as a shaman, essentially, not a medium.
Right.
But they were using the word medium as a replacement for the word shaman.
So. And who knows if they even translated it correctly, right? We don't know.
Well, I don't know. Title of the movie. I would think they would translate the title of the movie correctly.
I don't know. Maybe they don't. I always feel like sometimes those words don't like they just go with what would work for Americans. I don't know. That's just possible. My opinion.
That's possible. I know it goes the other way. In China, they change names of movies because they don't translate perfectly overseas over in China.
Right. So, right. Yeah. So it is interesting and so watch The Medium if you have a few hours. It is like a 2-hour movie, but it is very interesting. And it has some very realistic moments in there.
Yeah, it's filmed Blair Witch style. So
yeah, but not vomit Blair Witch.
Not shaky cam,
Yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, there's a couple moments, and to Dee Dee's last question there, because we're going an hour and a half. The payments, right? So she's at, is there a payment, right? Is there a payment for these rituals? And go ahead, you can answer that. Why the hell am I trying to?
Well, your ritual itself is the offering. That is the payment. Okay. Like in the honey jar, what you're offering in that honey jar is, the payment for it. And you can, add, let's say what you're trying to do is invoke Oshun, you would add 5 of something, whether it be 5 pennies, because her element is copper or gold. Copper is cheaper. And 5 pennies, 5 is her number. You put 5 pennies in the jar with all of the stuff, with the honey, and then, the candle, the tea candle. So it's all very, symbolic on that level, but payment is really what it is that you're offering in the works itself.
Okay. Interesting. And really quick, Stacey, Sam wants to know.
I don't know, really quick. What does it mean? If I'm a Leo and my moon is in Cancer and is rising is Scorpio.
Do you know, are you good with astrology?
I'm not really good. I did it like 30 years ago. I was really into it, but I haven't done it in a long time.
Leo, it means someone's going to steal your hubcaps, probably your neighbors.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of the stuff with astrology is depending on the chart that you're using. The tropical chart, that is what most people use. The 12 sun signs is a tropical chart. If you go with the Pleiadian chart, you're off by 24 degrees. So you may not be a Leo. You may actually be a Cancer.
Oh shit!
Remember when they changed all that, and everybody's like, whoa. When that came out just a few years ago, I was like, look, this is what I've been since I was born 52 years ago. It's just sticking.
Well, the Pleiadian chart is because it uses the Ophiuchus, the 13th constellation, and they're not all even houses after that. You have bigger and smaller because, Ophiuchus is kind of in the middle of all of that. And it throws everybody's stuff off. Not only that, but it goes off of the tropical chart goes off of the number of degrees at the spring equinox was at 0 degrees, which was 2,000 years ago. That's what they actually say is the birth of Christ, is when the Earth's tilt at the spring equinox was in Aries at 0 degrees. Bro. Now it's at 24 degrees because the world, it wobbles.
We're a wobbly world.
Yeah.
There's a 15th constellation. It's coming out next year. It's a giant, it's a penis candle.
It's the new Ophiuchus.
Yeah.
Ophiuchus.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
The
right.
serpent.
There you go.
That one's already there. The
It's
oh
almost
fuck
Yeah.
is.
Sam, salt of the earth, that means you are good people. That means you are a real, just soul, natural, no frill, bullshit, no bullshit kind of person. I mean,
Yeah.
how would you describe salt of the earth? I always feel like when you say
Yeah.
salt of the earth, you are just a good, hardworking, just honest person.
No,
You're
they're
wrong.
lying to you, Sam. It means when you fall off your bike and there's still salt from the winter on the side of the road, and it's all caught up in your skin and in your mouth.
Good Lord, it's quite an
That's what
accident
they're
on the
trying to say.
bike.
This is not Twisted Turtle. No, they're right.
Sorry.
Salt of the earth is good. Don't
Yeah.
be
Genuine and
pepper.
kind.
Don't be pepper of
That's
the
right.
earth. That's you
No.
don't want to be that.
No. Or Peppa.
Or
Although she was
Peppa.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know. We'll debate that one night.
We will. We'll debate that. Guys, do you have any questions on the side anymore before we wrap this up? Because we can pick Stacey's brain all night long. We could go right to the next thing and keep going with this. I think this has been really eye-opening. And Dee Dee did say one thing here. She said, I wanted to, she's like, you do kind of need to be aware of who you're working with when you're doing these spells, right? We should be very mindful. And I think this is where,
Yes.
I personally believe this is where we get a little lost with some of these things. We just do it. We just hear about it. We do it. And I don't know that the intention is really there, right? We think we know just enough to do the spell and we rush through it instead of learning who we are sort of I don't know.
Right. Well, this is the whole idea around situationships. Why are you in a situationship? Is that your fault or is that the other person's fault? Or, you have to take accountability for your own actions in what kind of situation you happen to be in. If you are absolutely hooked on somebody and you can't get them, to commit, this is one of those things that can help out. But if you're a teenage girl who wants to be with Justin Bieber and you're doing this, sorry, it's just not going to work.
How dare you, Stacey? It might
Well,
work. How dare you?
He would have to act like girls for that to take place.
Wow.
That is not the opinion
Is
of
not-
Get Haunted,
That's
Paranormal
right.
Blonde.
or even anybody that's else. Think that this is not it. All right. Well, welcome and farewell. The show went a little 9 minutes too long, apparently. So yeah, pasta,
Oh my gosh.
my house.
I'm serving some spaghetti. Anybody want to come over?
There you go. Come on over. We're having everybody's over. Justin Bieber will be here. Salt and pepper.
This was
And if
very eye-opening.
if you're curious, Shark Week is July 29th through August 5th.
I love her laugh in the background when you don't hear it all show and then she just lets it go. It's one of my favorite sounds in the whole world.
It's like having a live audience
yes.
when you do it. I love it.
Best. Like you have to be really quiet in the background and she just can't. And it's a perfect.
I don't know. She may have killed Leo. Leo has not barked once this entire show.
It's been pretty quiet. Maybe he's got a love spell.
She did a no bark spell.
No, I would be running that shit all the time. I have 2 dogs that do nothing but yap all day long.
Wow.
Yeah, see, those spells don't work for practical everyday things, do they? Yeah, so Dee Dee, go back, watch this. You'll want to hear what happened at the beginning of this show. It is intriguing, I will tell you that. Yeah, love spells.
I did rate
it.
NC-17.
Yeah.
He did. He tried to use kind words, but I think we need to use the technical terms, probably. Mency. There's a lot of Mency and penis talk going on at the beginning.
I said Amplo.
Yeah, that you said Amplo. So that is love spell, folks. We are back on track with Stacey. So Stacey will be back not next week, but the week after. We had to catch up because which is probably actually really closer to Valentine's Day, but we wanted you guys to be prepared to have a good Valentine's Day. That's why we decided to bring this out
Yeah.
at the end of January.
We
So
wanted to get you. We wanted you to get hooked up by Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
So there you go.
I mean,
Grab some honey, a candle, big old whatever.
well, what's crazy is, Valentine's Day lands on Lent, Ash Wednesday. So not only do you have the opportunity to fall in love, but you got to abstain at the same time.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
She's going to see Enrique.
Enrique Iglesias.
I think it's Enrique. It's not Henrique.
No, it's not Henrique. It's not Henrique. Down there in Texas, it might be. Hey, we're going to see Henrique Iglesias. And also that, hold on, who was the other one? Richie Martin. And,
he just got divorced.
Did he? Well, there you go. You probably
he did.
Light those candles, ladies.
Man, you can get a hold of me anytime you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Ask me anything.
But we could make a little Stacey in a box.
Yeah.
Sell them.
I knew Rob was going to go with that. Just give me a little vial. Just,
Listen, I'm living La Vida Loca right now, bro. Okay. Why don't you get you in my box?
Kaylee's on Etsy right now. She needs 24 candles. Yeah. Oh, girl. You know what? I say, Rob, we do a business partner honey on an index card, and we do some serious work. It has to be double the intention, the better, right, Stace?
Oh, yeah. If you're coming at it double barrel, it'll work.
We're in.
All right, let's do it.
We got work to do, friend.
Get that honey out.
Let's get that honey out. All right, folks. With that, we're going to let you sit and stew on those love spells a little bit. Stacey, get to thinking what next show is going to be. You got a little time, not that much time, because these weeks whip by. So get ready for more with Ask Stacey Stuff. Do you have a thought? Do you have a thought of what you want to do?
Not right now. I mean, I can go through the course list and people can vote if they want to. They can say,
Oh, let's do a poll, Stacey. Let's do a poll.
Okay.
Give me some things and we'll put a poll up.
Okay. Well, the course list is basically more spell work, remote viewing, prepping, and crypto. So what do you want to know?
Well, and communicating with the dead.
Crypto.
What's that?
Don't do the crypto.
Well, those are the course lists. So if you want to do just hoodoo and remote viewing, we can do that. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to tackle in any of those subjects?
Do remote viewing. We'll do the poll. We're
going to do a poll. I want communicating with the dead.
Okay. Yeah,
we need to do that too.
So go rig your polls. I'm going to do communicating with the dead. But I'm going to put a poll out there and then lie. Okay.
That's not true. But I think we need to, when we do this next show, I think it's time that we give them some serious homework. We give them either something they can use or something where, I don't know, who doesn't really work with aliens. You don't work with aliens, right?
Well, I have a course on remote viewing aliens. It's enigma targets is what it is. Like Bigfoot, aliens, the pyramids of Mars, different things like that. Show how to remote view those things and how to ferret out enigma targets that you will never, ever actually get confirmation about. That's a difficult thing. I hate that, but I show people how to do it. Because when I remote view, I want to be able to get the reveal, whether yes or no, this was accurate to a certain percentage. And if I can never get a real answer, that's just going to sit and fester like a wound. So I don't like doing enigma targets. I like doing things that are tangible that we can do. But I show people how to do it because people have these curiosities and they just want to know, how do I remote view that? So aliens is one. Bigfoot is another. And sometimes those are interlinked.
Great.
And there may be somewhere in the near future a way to actually do a hands-on experiment with all that.
There may be.
So you might just want to keep your eyes open.
You just might want to keep those peeps open. Those peepers.
Keep your peepers open. You never know what's coming. All right. It's been like an hour and 45. We probably should let these fine folks go.
It's time.
It's time. Stacey, thank you for your wisdom, your knowledge, and your time. We certainly appreciate that beyond.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being our spiritual warfare advisor. I feel always that much better knowing that we have Stacey right there on our side. He is the good side, the light. And to each of you on the side, we love you, we see you, we appreciate you, and thank you. We hope you walk away with a little bit more knowledge. Keep us posted if you try any of these. We're not saying you should, you shouldn't. You are adults. It is on you. But if you do, let us know. Keep us posted. What's going on? What do you take from Stacey? Do you guys try any of this stuff? We'd love to hear you.
Yeah, maybe. And if you have questions, I'm on Facebook, thanks to Sarah, and I'm around now. You can, if you're a student of mine, ask in Udemy. I have a direct connection that way too. So
yeah. So there you go, D-Hoot. Go to udemy.com. Go find his stuff, and you can. We have that link is right there also in the show description. So go check out his udemy.com. Get a course. Remember, Pluto 24, just for a little bit. It's not going to be up for a super long time, but you can get your course for $10. So don't miss out on this. $10.
Midnight
You got it.
Midnight tomorrow.
Oh, midnight tomorrow. You better get on it. Then. All right. With that, folks, we're going to let you have the rest of your Thursday evening. Have a great Friday, and we will see you. When we see you. You never know.
You never know.
We'll
we pop up here and there.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye.